Hello and welcome to the official JomezPro Dream 18 here with Paul Ulibarri, Nate Sexton, and we're here to just finally settle the score. We've played so many courses across the world, so many fantastically designed courses, and we often talk about this hole would make my Dream 18. I would love to have this hole on a course, so if you could just take the best of the best, and we're here today to settle that course. And so we have compiled our own list of 18 holes, and we're going to compare, and we're going to finally have an official Dream 18. One of the things we've done is we have selected 3 holes for our favorite hole 1, 3 for 17, and 3 for 18 as well, seeing as those are some of the most important holes in the course. But for the rest of the holes, 2 through 16, it doesn't necessarily have to go in order. Like hole 2 at Maple Hill, we can pick 2 anywhere. It doesn't have to be that hole. If we like that hole, it just fits somewhere between 2 and 16. So it's just basically the rest of our favorite holes from tour. We're gonna have Josh Eisengruber helping today to moderate, and he's gonna help tally the scores. And then we're gonna have that final official list.
Jerm, what do you think Uli's average placement on tour this year? 12 events.
12 events that qualify.
12 events with one A tier in there.
Hey, nice job so far, dude. I would say my guess for him is 27.
Okay. Nate?
23.
Okay. It was 29. It's 28 and 2/6. Yep. So how far away were you?
I said 23.
Yeah,
so I was away by 6.
2 off.
So you have how many points?
2, I guess?
Points? You have 6 points.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to lowest score.
42nd.
I won a tournament.
I know. That's helping.
I think Uli wants to go last. I think they did that up, but maybe that's true. If that's true, good guess, and screw you simultaneously.
Jerm has 8
44th.
Jerm has 8. Jerm has 8 events with 1 A-tier win. He is at 28.
Ooh,
28
he's a lot
placement.
worse than he's better than he
Can
seems.
we blur what hand signals I'm about to show them? Can we do that? I'm just, you know what? Read between the lines.
You guessed 43.
I think so.
You guessed 44.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So you have
1 point.
15 points, and then you get 16 points.
Yeah,
on
I
top
think
of
I lost.
Okay, now guessing Nate's average.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go with
3 Pro Tours,
8.
1 A-tier.
Oh, I played an A tier?
Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
I'm gonna say 28. I have faith in you because of a decent finish. and I think
51.
Yeah, that sounds better.
It is 34.75, so only 34. Only 34.
Okay.
It's not far off.
8 points.
It's not
8.5 points.
Yep. So we're gonna go Jerm first.
I'm last.
Nate last. Uli. So we'll start with Jerm, go to Uli, and then Nate.
Do I write those down?
Yep. Hole 1. You each will choose 3 of your favorite hole 1s
Okay.
on tour.
Let me remember.
And
what
write
they
those
said.
down in order, please.
From your favorites or whatever?
From your 3 favorite hole 1s.
I kept it to the courses on the list. Courses
Wait,
from
so-
recent tour.
Sure.
Favorite first?
Favorite first, second favorite second, third favorite third.
Also, unlike these two fellas, there's courses on that list I've never played. I might switch my order right now
I know. I kind of wanted to.
because I feel like
Yeah, I'm gonna do it too.
he's gonna switch his order.
I'm gonna
right
switch my order. I was thinking, should I switch my order? And you said it, so now I'm gonna do it. See you later, technical wooded par 4.
Okay, let's start with Jerm.
Okay.
Maple Hill first.
Yeah, Maple Hill. I mean, I think that it's the classic one. I know that Uli's going to roll his eyes a bit on this one, and that's fine. The hole does change year to year with the different Christmas trees they take down and you go over the road. But Maple Hill hole 1 is classic. Going over the pond, especially on a windy day, is incredibly scary. But on a calm day, it's fun to just let one rip and get the round started. Then you got the tight pinch here, which was a change they added probably like 8 years ago. And then going back in this little tunnel here into the woods, and it's kind of like a little precursor of what you're about to see for a long time playing through the woods of Massachusetts. Obviously very nostalgic for me. My very first tour one is Maple Hill, and I just love the hole. It gives me a good feeling, and it's hard to find anything wrong about it. It's a beautiful hole too. It's like they always have the nice flowers around everywhere. So I think it's a pretty special hole.
How about your second choice?
Second choice is Winthrop. It was originally something else, but I just changed it to Winthrop. I still get the feels on this tee pad. Playing so many tournaments for so many years, sometimes I lose that nervousness that I really like to have, and I get it on this hole every year. It's even cooler when they call you former U.S. champion, and you get that feeling, especially being somebody born less than 30 minutes away from this tournament is being held. It's really special for me. The very first event I ever saw professional disc golf played at the top level was the 2007 USDGC. And I always dreamed of being on that stage. So now being a former champion and returning every year, hearing my name called, it's just a fantastic short par 3. And I think that for a true Dream 18 to be the best possible course, we can't just have these long bomber down hills, everything. We're going to find a lot of those, I think, as we do this list. But I think you need some short technical holes as well. And with the double mandatory, the log down there by the green, I think there's a lot of difficulty on a pretty otherwise straightforward hole.
Yuli, you also had Winthrop. Care to add anything about that? What does Winthrop evoke for you when you think of it?
No, I think a lot of the same stuff he just said. It was the first place that I ever went to and played a tournament where they announced your name. Like nowhere else ever did that. And so I remember, and this was after I won Am World, so I got an invite. So I was really young. And I had just played like local B tiers and A tiers or whatever. And then all of a sudden you go to Winthrop and they have the guy there announcing you, and it's this beautiful property. And it was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, like there's actually like a professional circuit out here, because I had no idea. I was there as an amateur. And so, like he said, though, I think I still get the nerves there. It's one of the only holes where I have a game plan every practice round to throw my nice little backhand down the middle. And I don't throw that till the final round. I always end up throwing a little 2-piece right down there to get myself a look, make sure you hit the mandatory. That gap really tightens up, I think, tighter than any other hole one that I've ever played. So,
and then Nate, you had Maple Hill as well on your list.
Yeah, but I just demoted it to number 2. Yeah, I had it number 1, and I thought it would be a common pick for number 1. Because it is an iconic and incredible hole. But I always complain when a hole 1 is one of the harder holes on a course. And I feel like hole 1 ought to ease you in a little bit. Mm-hmm. So then I thought, that hole's too hard. For my Dream 18, that hole with the way they have it now, with all the OB, the pinch, and the swing right, plus 800 something feet or whatever it is, that's too much for me. I want it to be hard, obviously. But I demoted it to number 2 on my list for that reason alone, just that I think it's a bit too daunting.
My third one is W.R. Jackson. There are so many courses to go through, and I think that this is going to be a common theme for us as we're going through our list. It's so hard to remember each course. But one of the things that we were trying to do when we were looking at these lists is kind of go over a story and share a memory. And for me, it's hard for me to think about hole ones on courses and thinking about one that was more special than maybe the 3-way playoff between the top 3 players in the world. I don't know if that's ever happened before on any high-level event. And it was Simon Lizotte, Ricky Wysocki, and Paul McBeth. And on the first hole, Simon Lizotte goes cut roller, which is just an absolutely bizarre thing to try to do. I don't even know what he's thinking is going to happen here, but he had the courage to try it and nearly pulled it off to perfection, which was just insane. And then I remember McBeth being a little bit out of position. Ricky with an incredible drive just puts him in the right spot. And I think his approach was even great. Paul McBeth was out of position and he had to come up with some sort of, I don't know, like 450, maybe more, but uphill through a tight window. And just this shot here, I don't know if it's getting through any of those outer limbs, but puts it in the circle. And just incredible. I'll never forget that playoff. Actually, yeah, wow. I kind of forget how hard of a shot Ricky had. And he gets lucky.
Well, I think he actually pushes it into like kind of a similar spot as Paul.
Yeah.
They had a little putt off.
Yes.
Right here.
And Simon, yeah. With that roller, actually, was the best drive of the group, and he puts it the closest. So he was in position to win that thing after going crazy man cut roller. But Ricky, as Ricky does, just stepping up big time.
See, that's farther than we thought.
Yeah,
That's like outside
I
the
thought
circle, maybe.
my memory actually, I say I'll never forget. I'll never forget the fact that it happened. But Ricky having to make a nice putt outside the circle that he was first up, that's pretty clutch. And like these guys both could have missed these putts. I mean, it's pretty short for Macbeth to miss, but Simon could have won the hole right there. But that was pretty incredible stuff. And I mean, I don't know if it's the perfect pick for a hole one, but it's a great hole one, and it's a great hole through the woods. And I don't think my list has a tremendous amount of holes that are technical. And W.R. Jackson is such a fantastic course. I think most players who have played there in some type of competition will say it's one of the best technical courses they've ever played. And I think that this list wouldn't be complete without having that aspect incorporated. And I think hole one's a good candidate.
Rest in peace.
Yes, no doubt. Rest in
Okay,
peace.
let's go over to Uli.
I hate my second pick. Can I switch it?
Go for it.
I think it's gonna go on my Dream 18, maybe. So we should still have footage of mine. Here, I want to show him again
Okay.
for the.
Talk to us about your number one.
My number one is actually one that I haven't played in a long time, and it's Yarva, one of my favorite courses, if not my favorite course ever of all time. And there's been a lot of different variations of hole one, but the one that I remember being, I think, my favorite was the par 5. I mean, this might be a par 4.
I think I remember it as a 4.
Okay, so then I'll just say that, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like downhill and then it's in the trees.
Yeah.
Into
It
the
doesn't
birches.
change it. It's still my favorite.
Yeah. It's a pretty long 4.
Okay, here.
Oh my God. 974. I forgot it was that far.
I kind of wanted to pick some Yarva, but it wasn't on. I was too inside the list.
So, anyways, I haven't played it in a long time, but like Jerm's, or I think Sexton was alluding to, of having a hole where you can kind of open up, it really provided that. You could take a little bit off the tee, play for position to kind of make it around the corner, or you could go really big off the tee, which I'm sure Ricky's going to do here. And it was just a tough get around the corner. I think a Dream 18, if I visualize it in my head, it has tall aspens. Like mine has tall aspens. I think aspen trees are the perfect trees for a disc golf course because you can trim them so high without your little Twizzlers. And they're nice and beautiful.
And
we can see it once they go into the green, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it just tucked it in perfectly to where you really got rewarded with good shots on this hole.
and you had the option to get really big with the roller.
Yep.
Are they aspens or these birches? I think the white trees, aren't they birches?
I believe they are. But,
Yeah, birches. Okay, birches.
Okay.
But
yeah, you can
same
you know,
difference. Same difference
those-
from a design perspective.
you
Yeah.
can tell what aspen is by the way that it is.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
There, see? It just adds that little extra element to me of like the beauty of the hole, and the fairways are just really well groomed, and you can watch once they get into there. It was super tight, and it created like a nice little atmosphere of, if you got like a 40-footer, it was like the greatest feeling
Oh, it
of
was
all time.
incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
and
birdie here is.
I remember starting off the tournament with a birdie on this one. So there's a little good memory in there. But yeah, so this was my favorite hole one, I think, ever.
Talk to us about your number 2 hole one.
My number 2 hole one, I had one in there just because I ran out of time the other day and I axed it. Gone. My number 2 has to be Fountain Hills. Fountain Hills, huge water carry, one of the most beautiful parks in the world. Local to me, where I kind of grew up playing. Lost a ton of discs in there. So if I didn't say that it was one of my favorites, the next time I'm going in there, it's taking another one of mine, I'm sure. But I mean, some great memories there. I know I've seen, that was when Doss got on ESPN for the first time ever for disc golf, I think. Yeah. I lost on a playoff on this hole one time. That's a great memory.
Oh, jeez. Well, talk a little about how you got to that playoff.
Yeah, that's the Nico ace. He aced 18
Oh my gosh.
to push me to
I
a
remember
playoff.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the.
and I birdied 18 too. So
One
for
time
the
me.
first time of the whole tournament, I led from hole 1, because we played every round together. From hole 1, and I had a 1-stroke lead going into 18, and he had the box, and he aced on me. And so I had to birdie to push it to hole 1, and he beat me on hole 1.
Wow.
I like this hole a lot. And obviously, one of my fondest memories on tour was my playoff win with Macbeth in 2015 on this hole.
How is it that you have won at every good hole that there is?
I haven't won at WR Jackson, but that's crazy. I do have the other two, but I don't know. If it's a good starting hole,
He's a lucky
I'm off
guy.
to the races.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do not like about this hole is that if you hit the wall, you get to take it all the way up there. I don't like that rule.
Yeah.
I've never liked that rule. It made no sense to me whatsoever. I remember when Brody Smith came into the sport and we were playing a tournament here, and he is like, what the hell is this as a starting hole? And I was like, what do you mean? It's like one of the most epic starting holes ever. And he was comparing it to golf, how kind of like what Nate is saying about the one thing against Maple Hill is that it's a little too hard of a starting hole. Like a good starting hole, in his opinion, kind of goes with the golf philosophy of just getting you out, get you going, and get you on the course.
I always think it's you come from the warm-up field, especially a place like Fountain Hills. There's nowhere to warm up. And so it's probably been 20 or 30 minutes.
Oh,
Plus you have
minimum.
the extra
Minimum.
nervousness of like we're getting started.
Yeah.
So that's why I think my design philosophy pushes away from like a nightmare hole on hole 1.
And that's where our opinions always differ, because I just want to punish everybody.
Yeah.
And I love putting somebody in a position where their nerves get the best of them.
Sure.
I think that that's something that disc golf really struggles to do right now with a lot of holes, is get people to really think like, oh, what do I do here? This hole's actually pretty easy. If you, like back in the day, you could just throw as far as you want.
Just show it straight, yeah.
And then you just pitch it up there.
Sure.
You know, but if you wanted to
Going
get
for that
greedy and
pin.
you want to go for the pin, then you had to get a little bit aggressive, and that's where the nerves kind of came in.
Yeah, I think that it's a great hole. I think that if I had thought about in that midsection where you can put all your favorite holes, I may have put that on there, but I like it as a starting hole for the same reason you're talking about it. And for the same reason that you're saying like, I don't know. And you're saying, yeah. I like it for all those reasons because it brings so many emotions. It makes you really draw into something deep down and really commit to your game plan. And it can cause you to weak arm it because you're just scared and nervous. We just got done playing a practice round with Nate Doss, and he was telling us, you know, he's the first person to get ESPN with the ace, but he also went into the final round with a 2-stroke lead and took an 8. And so like he said, I'm probably the only person ever to have a 1 and an 8 on the same hole. But yeah, I mean, that hole brings it out.
It's a thrill to play that hole.
Yeah, no
I would
doubt.
say.
Yeah,
and
of
I'm not
course.
saying it's a bad hole by any stretch.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a thrill to throw that shot.
Yeah. And then of course Winthrop, and we already went over that, but those are my 3 good ones. I've heard this argument about par 4s needing to be the starting hole, and I've always loved hard par 3s. Like hard par 3s where it gives you the option to lay up and succumb to like the nerves and just be like, okay, I'm just going to play it for par fine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or you could have the courage and get it, and there's no better feeling than starting by parking that hole. You're kind of off, and it's like because there's not a lot of hard holes out there.
It's almost worth 2 birdies.
It really is. Yeah.
That one, hole 9.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 3 that are like, yeah, and the rest are like, got to get them.
And the same goes for Winthrop hole 1. You birdie that hole, and it's such a relief because that course is so hard.
You're starting
already
off
one
under par.
That's crazy.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, Nate, your list started off with Maple Hill as well.
Yeah, but I changed my order, so now that's number 2. I think I have the one you just axed, which may be a little bit of recency bias, but the Glendoveer West hole 1. I think this is a really beautiful hole. I think it provides a lot of options off the tee. I like it because you can lay the roller. You can play just the biggest turnover ever. You can lay back and play the forehand. And I think the distance is more manageable than, say, a Maple Hill, even though there's tons of treachery here. This is not an easy hole at all. Tons of sand, tons of greens, tons of OB, but a beautiful place to play, a chance to kind of choose your own adventure aggression-wise off the first tee, out of that gap, and then a really stressful and precise shot required to get on top of that mound and get a birdie.
Yeah, so I switched Fountain Hills with Glendevere just to put Glendevere somewhere else in one of the holes.
Yep, sure.
Like,
and
it's still in there.
Yep. And I do wonder if I think of it, it's so much easier to think of a course that you just played. It's hard for me to go back and think through all these memories and all these different places that I've been. And I don't think I'm going to be happy with our list when we're done with it, but I'm glad we're embarking on the journey.
I think I was really surprised at as straightforward as the concept of this hole is and as much space as they give you. And even though the green is surrounded on all sides with different things you don't want to find, I feel like as far as 2-shot holes go, not overly difficult. Yet on the West course, which we all agree is a pretty tough course unless you're Gannon Burr, this was the 4th most difficult hole on the course, which really blew me away.
Yeah, that is surprising.
I was really surprised by that. It played over par. But yeah, I think that a lot of people were trying the backhands and maybe hyzering out. But yeah,
it's
I mean,
a lot of out of bounds, right? Because the actual shots are much more manageable than the rest of what's on that course, in my opinion. Like the throws you need to throw.
It doesn't.
The drive is tough, but if you get something working right, you're going to be in a very manageable, like 330 to 370 type of distance into the green that, anybody on tour is going to have an easy time with that.
Fantastic hole.
Second, I had Maple Gold. Third, I threw on there Fox Run Meadows #1, and this is kind of a hole that, again, I just think it's a really beautiful place to play, and I think my list is going to reflect that aesthetics mean a lot to me. Like, I don't want to be next to a parking lot, so like that disqualifies a lot of holes right away for me from my Dream 18. I got to be out in the woods a little bit, but I like this hole because, again, it's super manageable distance wise, but absolutely possible to mess up. And I really like the element of you could lay that roller down and you can imagine parking it and getting a 2. And I just find that really fun. A technically, potentially reachable par 4.
Oh, and Kevin's about to lay down the roller. Oh, of course. I was tethered to the hip with this guy.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
That had the good stuff on it.
Yeah.
That had the good stuff. And this was like one of a few amazing shots that we saw from Simon, but the one on 9 I'll never forget.
Yeah.
The Skamahawk or whatever that was. That wasn't even Skamahawk. It was an overstable like roller line that got the full flex.
Look at this one.
Yeah. Doesn't this go
Doesn't
really
get
long?
Right, but it's by no means is this. I mean, it's an easy hole, I would say.
I think the only time you're going to see a roller is in a skins format, which is unfortunate because it makes me think about this. Is this a great hole because it's hole 1?
Sure.
Or is it a great hole anywhere? Like, would this be a fantastic hole 16 coming down the stretch?
Sure, I think it'd be
where
fine.
If you got to get the 2, I almost like it more as a 16.
I think maybe bring the other side of the OB a little closer to the tee to entice that roller a little more. Because it's not like an attractive. No one's using that inbounds area anyway. Like, it's not like you're going to lay it up like 170 off the tee. So that OB change really doesn't matter. Like, the clearance is not an issue. So if they could bring that mow line back a little, maybe let the roller get down a little easier, might be even more enticing.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but I think most of the OB on that course, especially in that area, is because of protected areas.
No, I think you're right. We're in a dream world.
18.
We're in a dream scenario here.
Dream 18.
I'm not asking them to do that. I'm not asking anyone to do anything. I'm just dreaming.
All right, well, I'll get off the phone with Jeff. He's on hold. Hold on a second. Can't talk right now.
Everyone write down your next hole you want to add.
I knew you guys were just gonna, cause you were gonna succumb to the freaking
Peer pressure
of hole 1 at Maple Hill.
Well, at least I moved it off #1.
True.
Is it really
I'll be
one
the
of your
basic
favorite?
one that picked hole 1 at Maple Hill.
But
It's your favorite.
I didn't. That's why I didn't put it my favorite.
Go ahead.
Second favorite.
All right, Jerm, you get
Whatever that I've ever played out all the holes.
go ahead and tell the camera. You
I
get
couldn't
first
remember
pick.
all the holes. That's my problem.
Yeah.
You chose.
I picked Winthrop hole 5. I don't know if it should be hole 2. I think it should be hole 5 because it's perfect at hole 5.
Then why'd you vote for it on hole 2?
Because it's better than my hole that's currently at hole 2. I just picked like my favorite hole just for the rest of the course, but I don't think it should be a hole 2 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're getting into it.
Yeah, I think
we're
it's
at
important.
1,800 feet through 2 holes.
Yeah, let's get going.
Yeah.
Par 4,
Let's get
par 5
going.
out
Yeah.
the gap.
Boom, boom.
I think we're looking at maybe one of the.
This is gonna be hilarious. What I do for number 3.
I think it's a perfect par 5.
It is a nice.
The distance 1025 can be broken up into 3 accurate 350-foot shots, and then you got a 25-foot putt. I think that the design philosophy behind the blind landing zone being around the right to left sloping hill, for years the play was a backhand rock turnover, not a driver, not get a lot of distance, just keep it in the fairway. What's an ample fairway? A lot of space, but people get greedy. And obviously, if we're talking about memories here, it is just short enough of a par 5 that you can have this dream of doing something insane off the tee and going for the big shot. And one time we saw this man right here, pretty calmly dressed today. I like that. He didn't go for the big, colorful outfit he normally goes with here. But no, we got Garrett Gurthie, who is
this
Mr.
shot.
Aggressive, the big
This
roller
shot.
shot.
Look, this shot going outside the tree, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yes, eventually. And
It's so incredible. Right down to the water's edge,
Like, it couldn't have been any
around
closer.
the tree.
couldn't have been any
I wouldn't
closer.
even throw a forehand around there. Like, you don't want to go over there in the air, much less a roller that if it slips off that edge, it's done.
There's only one reason you throw that shot off the tee, and that's so that you can go for it on the second shot.
Absolutely.
It's just, okay, so what is he, like 450, I think?
Probably.
I think that
Probably.
tree's probably 450. He might be just inside that, but something where even he can go super high spike hyzer.
So high.
And that's just nuts. Just absolutely nuts. And so the thing about Garrett is that he's always the guy kind of doing the cool stuff, giving himself opportunities, but he still was 30 long and he had to make that putt.
Yeah, and that's so much pressure.
Oh my gosh, is it ever? And dude stepped up and made that putt and got the sickest eagle. We've seen some throw-ins. I know that I think Kevin Jones threw it in.
Sure.
We've seen some other ones in the past. I witnessed one from my best friend Henry. He did it one time in a casual round, but to do it in tournament like that for Garrett on a feature card, pretty insane. But I think it's maybe the first superstar hole we've ever had. That course has been there for long time, and I can't think of a more iconic hole than hole 5 at Winthrop.
One of my oldest, fondest memories is of this hole. I was walking with Will Schustrick in 2006. So my first year there, obviously I have a lot of great memories from there. But we're following the lead card, Barry Schultz. He steps up to his third shot. And mind you, I was super green to this point in the game. Like, I didn't know anything. There was no shot shaping going on. It was like flex shots and stable discs, and there was nothing like, there was no hyzer flipping or anything. And Barry steps up to this hole, his third shot, and he throws a hyzer out into the water. And I look over at Corey like, oh my gosh, that's the worst shot I've ever seen, you know? And this thing late turned and then did that Barry Schultz late turn dive all the way over the water and just bases the hole. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's
What do I know?
Like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I'll never forget it. That's one of the shots in my life that I go, I fell in love with disc golf. Like,
It opens your mind.
Well, it blew my mind because I didn't know that. Yeah, for sure opens your mind. I was just like, is that he meant to do that?
Yeah.
You know, like,
It's funny that you mentioned
wild.
Barry Schultz in that hole, because if you go back to 2005, the Dave Felberg win, in the last round, Barry Schultz going to tap in his
my
putt
God.
from 3 feet. He loses the disc on the way to tapping out and misses a literal tap in putt. It like hits the bottom of the cage and he missed the 3-footer.
Don't try to ruin my childhood memory.
Barry Schultz, hole 5, Winthrop, USDGC, could not say it. Sorry. Sorry, Barry, you're amazing.
This hole made all 3 of your lists in your top
Nice,
10s.
nice.
Nice.
Uli.
Well, this is actually hilarious because this is number 3 on my list.
Oh boy.
And I think you guys are going to think this is funny, but it's also, I think, the most unique hole maybe that I've ever played.
Okay.
Oh, is this the U-turn hole?
Yep.
Hole 18.
No, is it 18?
This is the Anaconda.
Well, it's been 18 in the past. It's like, but yeah, 21 on this
21,
particular
okay.
layout. The Anaconda.
Is
Yeah,
that what
this-
it's called, the Anaconda?
That's
Yeah,
what
the
I call it because
Anaconda.
that giant root.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just one of the shots in disc golf that we are never forced to throw ever. And this is the only hole I've ever played where it forces you to throw this particular line, which is like a really tight anhyzer that hovers the ground and then all of a sudden it's like released free off the cliff. And I don't know, man.
You had to throw the anhyzer, but still kind of a flippy disc.
Yeah,
But
with
don't let
touch.
it roll. Yeah, because a stable disc wouldn't work.
Oh, no. And it's
Super
so
low
tight,
ceiling,
and it's so
yeah.
tight to get under these branches right there.
When you birdied this hole, you have done
yeah.
something serious.
Oh, and people are taking big time numbers on it.
Yeah.
I know Ricky's lost his tournament because he's putted it off the cliff. It might
Yeah.
be still rolling.
Yeah, I played with him when he took a 10.
Yeah, talk to me about the green.
Well, look at this. Wait.
Yeah.
Yikes. Oh my God.
Lots of movement. Lots
Was that
of
a
movement.
pig? Did he just rip over a pig on that line?
Maybe.
What?
Like
Animal.
the green is so specific. You really want to overturn it and get under this branch right there. And then it like slow rolls or slowly rolls out of it, goes in there. And look at these guys trying to lay up. It's hilarious.
The video never does it justice, just how deep these little ravines at De La
Like this
Viega are.
this has too much power. Like this could be Dunzo.
Yeah, he's thanking his lucky stars that that's stopping. Because if it goes, I mean, you're talking about a rollaway that is going to take a while, like 10, 15 seconds of the disc rolling down. You can hear it like, you're like, oh, it hasn't stopped yet. I think I saw it. And you're like, it's like a 20-minute
Yeah.
adventure now
Yeah.
to try to go get it back. It's that far down.
I think not only does it make my Dream 18, it also could very well make my Nightmare 18.
Yes.
Oh, it's
And
on
so-
my Nightmare 18.
Yes.
I do not dream of that
that's
hole.
a great video idea.
Like just and the only reason I say that is because I like holes where, listen, everybody can throw that distance in the world. It's so specific. The reward for doing it and getting the birdie, there's no other feeling like it on that hole. You usually have to make a crazy putt too, so it's never over.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Just how unique it is.
And a 40-footer there is like something. That's amazing.
Just a little pitch.
The people that had the guts to do it every once in a while, or maybe they're crazy.
Oh.
I mean, but making that putt, it was awesome when
So-
when people would do it.
When you're saying there's nothing like a birdie on that hole, I think there's nothing like a birdie on that hole if you have that 40-footer and you have the guts to go for that and you make that. First off, your card instantly knows this guy's crazy. Like if they
Yeah.
didn't already know that by the time you got to that point in the round, they just learned this guy is an absolute lunatic. And also, wow, what courage to go for that and to make it is pretty special.
Early in my pro career, I remember going down to De La, and there was a old school Oregon pro named Tom Embry. You guys maybe have met him. He had a big ponytail.
I don't know if I know Tom. Anyways.
And he aced that hole. And I remember giving him a bunch of crap about it. Like, you lucky, that thing was gone. Like,
How on? I've never even heard of
yeah,
an
he
ace on that
aced
hole.
it. Yep, he aced it.
What in
And it
the
was like,
world?
that's the worst shot I've ever heard of, Tom.
I think I would be. I think it would go from nightmare to just a normal dream type hole for me, but never dream. For that hole to have a tee pad that was like one big step to the left. I think that is for me what makes that hole so weird, because I feel like you have to step off this like cliffy thing. And is that a part of it? Like, does the hole have to be exactly as it is, or are we like kind of moving some things around?
I think it does because like I said, I don't think they're like you move it over there and now all of a sudden you're comfy.
Did you guys play it way back long enough? You probably didn't for sure, but when guys would go Spike Heiser
Yes.
over the other side, like Marcus Schallstrom would go. But it grew in, and that
I
line
hear your
isn't there
argument.
anymore.
There's nothing like it. it's a memory for me. It's a hole that I always always excited to get to because of the possibilities.
Yes. And then you hit it early and you're like, oh no,
Oh, wow.
how am I ever gonna, it's just so scary when you're like 170 away.
And it's another hole where you could totally pitch it up to the top and pitch down there. I mean, it's a tough
You could throw
shot.
like a forehand off the tee would be good. A forehand off the tee would get you.
You could jump up.
shot.
But yeah, there's no like go to the top of the hill and then pitch.
No.
You have to get around the corner still.
Yeah.
It has to be a
Pretty
great
manageable shot.
Yeah.
I'm curious how this tour would fare on that hole.
Sure.
I'm just curious to see how good have people gotten. Or is that just like a guaranteed line now? They were like, everybody's kind of down there getting looks. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate that there is at least one, and I'm sure there will be more. But I'm happy there's at least one course from De La Viega, an old school style design that still holds up in today's game on this list. Yeah.
Okay. For hole 4 on the Dream 18, give me Swenson hole 10 along the water, about 400.
Oh,
Drop your fairway driver in there. Got to have the speed control, got to have the angle control. Not a hole that I particularly like throwing, but I like watching people throw it that are more skilled than I with the backhand flatty. But I didn't pick these holes so I would play good. I picked holes that I thought are hard and interesting and treacherous, and this checks all those boxes. I've made a couple lucky birdies with giant forehands here, but when you see somebody throw that backhand with the right command and they can get a baby drift on it, multiple skips, slide it up in there, it's a thing of beauty. And you also get some just heartbreaking OB by an inch that look perfect and they barely slide off.
oh my gosh! And do they slide on that green or?
It's so slidey.
Oh, my
yes,
goodness.
it's
You could
perfectly
lay up
flat hole, but yeah, the green is just ice. And then this was the memory I
Grandpapa.
wrote down, was Simon Lizotte showing off a totally foreign style to what we'd ever seen from him. And all of a sudden he just started throwing this super high putt here and making it. And that's something I think he did it twice.
Yep.
The floaty own. I mean, that thing is just doing somersaults.
Well, I think it has the same element as the U-turn, to where there's nothing like making that putt from 40 feet.
It's
There's nothing.
anything that misses is in the water. You have to get so lucky because it's really got to only be about
It's-
6 or 7 feet.
very similar ground play with a hard pan to all the holes at De La. Like all the greens got that super hard pan. I mean, that is like the slidiest green right there for sure. You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. I picked Brewster Ridge, hole 10.
Yep. It's a good one.
It's a beautiful hole. I don't know how Brewster Ridge does this, but even on a rainy day, somehow when you're teeing off from the woods and you're looking down, there is just sunlight on that basket. And it's just beautiful. It's lit up. It's inviting. It's 475, but reachable with a fairway driver, maybe even a mid-range for some of these crazy guys. But it's just a fantastic hole. I love throwing downhill and getting to see a disc fly and just keep on racing down. There was a shot that I specifically remember. Eagle McMahon throwing this shot right here. I don't even want to talk about it.
I couldn't find the exact one on video.
Oh, you
but
couldn't?
He goes roller here as well.
Oh, okay. So this one doesn't work out. But Eagle one time threw a roller that, this one's kind of working pretty good. No, that's not bad at all. But the one that I think about is the time when he threw a backhand roller and it hit the pole. Like, what are you even doing?
Dead center.
Dead center, squared it. Yeah, I know a buddy of mine back in Charlotte, actually former Am World champ, Steven Jacobs aced that hole.
Wow.
Not during the GMC, but still, I mean, just a all-time unforgettable ace. And I know I've actually had a few ace runs myself in the past, and just thinking back, like I think if I aced that hole, it would be my favorite ace of all time. And it's just a beautiful hole. Holes like that just should exist on a Dream 18.
Well, I think that this hole 16 Champions Landing, I love this hole because on traditional golf courses, you usually follow like the tradition of following the fairways and then placing the basket like next to a green. And this is an actual disc golf hole at a golf course that has nothing to do with a fairway. Like they figured out a way to make an actual disc golf hole on a traditional golf course. And I think it's brilliant. I mean, this is like the closest thing I think we have to like the Players Championship, hole
TPC
17, TPC Sawgrass. And a lot of great things happen. I think even the design got better when they put the wall up back there.
Absolutely.
So it made people kind of get more aggressive. And we've just seen some great moments on this one. I think, what was it? Missy Gannon made like a crazy putt and she didn't have to. In her playoff this year with Haley King, they were doing
aggregate.
An aggregate. And she could have just laid it up and she like ran it. It was wild. It made me think she didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
Like it was just sudden death, I swear. But I just think this is a fantastic hole.
This was
if this
special
doesn't
right
make
here.
your Dream 18, I don't know what you're looking for. It has all the good things from water, just beautiful green, and there's no land around it. It's our only true island hole that we got. I think it's brilliant.
Talk about the flamingos.
And of course you got the flamingos, the crowd over there. They all come dressed in their flamingo outfits, even though I'd be scared of the raptor coming in.
Raptors like flamingos. They're crunchy. Little chips.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think this should. I couldn't imagine this not making a Dream 18.
That moment right there, unforgettable. Ricky obviously making that drop zone putt right in the wake of his sister's passing is really emotional for people too. Waiting for Ricky to give them something and waiting to see him have a moment, and that was kind of the quintessential moment. And we've seen some sick aces this year. We saw Chris Clemens with his hole-in-one.
You've gotten it?
I had a hole-in-one on it. Windiest round we've ever played. Just got super lucky. The basket got in the way of my OB, eventual OB drive. But no, that was it's just it's a sick hole. And I had it right here to the top of my list. It was going to go on a hole ago, but I wanted to wait till later on, and I'm fine with it being on the hole now. Being on the course now is fine, but I love it coming down the stretch. And this used to be, when it was the Glassbone Open, this used to be hole 18.
Yep.
It was a little bit different tee pad, a little bit shorter, but they didn't have the wall back there.
It's interesting how all these holes you've won tournaments on and I've lost.
I haven't won the Glassbone Open.
No, I'm saying like you have holes where you've won. I haven't found one that I've won on, but I've lost on multiple of these holes down the stretch of a tournament. Including this one.
I see.
These memories are not good, but it's still a great hole.
I got a hole, I feel like, as an Oregon guy, I got to put it on the list. Hole 9 east from Milo McIver, also known as the Genius Hole. I think there's been times where maybe they recently called it a par 3, but in my memory banks, it's a short par 4. And you can get the absolute crushers in the field firing one down there. If they get it perfect and they miss that one big tree way out there, you could have people swinging down there and making big putts. I think I maybe like it elevated. There's been iterations where it's been a par 4 elevated basket, maybe to add just a little more difficulty, because obviously it is quite a short par 4. You got the risk of out of bounds if you throw the disc too high. There's obviously the chance of not really clearing the gap. When I very first played Milo McIver, there was another tree in the very middle of the gap. And then the hole was really hard because if you hit it, you weren't even off the hill. And you had to go down in the stinging nettles, find your disc, and just try to get a bogey and get out of there. But
wait, do we have this clip?
This is this is the memory I brought up.
Oh, yes.
A very old eagle throwing, not a guy with a whole ton of power, but getting it done anyway.
I honestly just look at the pants. Every time I watch this clip, I'm drawn to the pants. Was that you or Felber?
I was walking right behind. I'm on that card to the left.
Let's see.
So
what a shot. Yep.
Yeah, so I saw Felber.
See there?
Nice legs.
Yep.
Thank you.
How can you tell?
Huh? I remember him doing it. That's not a memory that just goes poof out of the...
Oh, and was that Kenny getting the eagle roller on this hole too? Can you play that one out? Just
thinking about it. I don't know if he got it, but
I thought he did.
Does it cut again?
Oh,
no, not this time.
Okay. Oh, no, it did.
No,
it did.
it
I think.
No way.
He gets it on the island. I'm pretty sure he parks it.
That's sick. He's laughing about it.
Yeah, laugh away, you 12-time
Oh my
champ.
God, on the backside.
Exactly as he intended.
Yeah, right side the whole way out on the road.
Playing the right-hand backhand rollers to cut left the whole way.
Oh,
That's
and
awesome.
wait, now you got to go to the winning putt. You just went out of there.
What the heck, Josh? Moderate this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is to win the world championships, by the way, in Masters.
Dead center.
Oh, my bad. Thank you, boys.
Wow.
How you doing?
That was to win the Masters World title?
Yes, that was a playoff.
Oh, was it really?
Yes.
With Barry?
No,
Or
with
with-
Patrick Brown. I
Oh, with
think.
Patrick. Oh, boy.
How you
Sick.
doing?
Sick.
If he was just a little more competitive, maybe he'd have won more. Gosh.
So you enjoy the old layout better.
Yeah, I don't want the new thing that we're doing now to the island.
Can you describe to the people why it's called the Genius Hole?
Yeah, sure. It's called the Genius Hole because when they were first designing out there at Milo for these courses, a guy named Dustin Milbrot, who I fist bumped today, who's out there today talking, and he's been out at Milo for years, he looked up that hill behind them where they were standing in that field and said, what if we put a tee up there? And the story is that whoever was with him, it might have been Patrick Buckley, I'm not sure, just said, you're a genius. And then they went up there and carved it out, and thus the Genius Hole was born. And his face is still on the logo all the time. Every time you see a T sign, there's a thing that says genius, and it's this like black and white Dustin face.
I wanted to say my hole 16 doesn't have a drop zone.
Just go forever.
I want to like change my list because I feel like sad that Winthrop 1 isn't on this or Glendevere 1. You know, like Glendevere West 1 is an epic hole. It should be on a Dream 18.
You can still put it in there.
Yeah, you could.
I know. I'm thinking about it because like
What did we just do? We did a par 4. So yeah, pop another little par 3. We got we got the scoring stretch right now.
I'm not gonna do it for this hole, but I'm gonna do.
And then I'm gonna
I
just lay it down here in a second. No, I'm just kidding.
What am I going to do? Okay.
Glendevere East, hole 5. It's another downhill shot. Surprise, surprise. I love them. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It requires a lot of distance, but also you have to be accurate because these bunkers come in play. For a big throw, if you don't get them moving left, you move it a little bit left, and you've got this straight shot over Cappuccino Creek to a basket on a mound with OB behind it. It's just a great hole. It's a beautiful hole. And I love Douglas firs, which line both sides of the fairway. Most memorable memory on this hole for me personally comes from the cart push. And having Kevin Toma, former video guy here, was just, we didn't even instruct him to do this. He just read the room and just started racing down the hill. And it just was the commentary by you and your brother and Dustin is just fantastic. And I loved it. It was so much fun. I think I lasered that to like 450.
I'll take that.
It was awesome.
Pretty good drive.
Yeah, it was a good drive. It was a great drive. Very fun moment. And that's probably the best angle to truly get a sense of the slope. I don't think the drone flyover does it justice. But
Sure.
Seeing what the angle we're walking down this hill really gives you a sense of how much elevation you're losing off the tee. I wonder what this list would be like if we're doing this at the USDGC.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever you just played, it does definitely have some impact. Mine is precarious depending what Yuli does.
All right, here we go.
I like that.
Yeah, of course.
Hole 4. You'll never see another hole like this. And if you do, it's because this hole was made.
Yeah.
It is the longest, straightest, 444-foot hole you'll ever play in your life. So many crazy things have happened on this. I remember watching old
Oh my gosh.
videos. What were they? Clash videos. And Kale LaVisca and Nico were on this, and they made it
doubled
2.
Yep. Doubled up.
This. Oh, look at that dude, Paul.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You psycho. No, throw a mid-range. Or don't.
Don't change a thing.
Or don't do it, you bad boy. But I mean, this is just one of the most famous holes as well
I
that
think
you'll ever think of. And it's just tough. Straight as a string. so much trouble. Another one that makes you pucker. And if you think, oh, I'll just go putter, no, you won't.
You hit a
Y'all
tree.
won't.
You hit a tree, and you're gonna go.
Yep.
You're gonna need a driver from in there.
The
wherever
guy-
you end up.
The guy who owns this property jokes that I think his grandpa planted these trees, and he said he was the very first ever disc golf course designer.
Oh, that's cool.
Tell me about missing the line.
Oh, if you miss the line, you might hit a world record amount of trees.
And but the beauty of it is you'll pitch to the middle, and you got another chance to try to hit the line.
That's the only way. You get off the fairway here, and there is not a lot of scrambling going on. A couple sidearm rollers to get to the other side of the wood line, and then you're scrambling again. I mean, I've seen so many 7s, so many 8s on this hole. And then to watch somebody like Kale play this hole, typically he just goes mid-range, and has a drop-in 3 every single time, which you would beg for.
All right, I got it. I'm changing it up. This is about making sure we get to the end of this course in one piece, as much as it's about anything. Because
I think I know what we're doing.
We're going thousands and thousands of feet. Another caveat is it needs to be September for this hole, I think, to get
exactly
what it's
what it
done.
is.
Because he looked at my list, even though he wasn't supposed to.
Well, you were talking
And now
about
he's trying
earlier
to say
today.
words before I say them when it's my turn to talk. Fox Run, hole 2. Little baby shot, but a very beautiful hole. A little short putter, but I think it's going to help beginners who stumble onto our Dream 18 have an okay time. Because maybe they can get out there and maybe throw a shot, maybe pick up a bird every once in a while. Because we got this nice rock. I think that's really important for the hole. Having that rock there is beautiful. Little subtle slope from left to right, so you can still get some rollaways. But just a hole that I always look forward to, and a really pretty, very obvious what you need to do, but can you do it in the moment?
Why September?
Because of the leaves. It's just such an important part of the hole, I think. It just, again, aesthetics are big for me. So I want this to just look really good. And when those trees are bright red and you're looking down, it's a little sunny and you got that big rock in the way. It's just one of the more striking disc golf holes I've ever stepped foot on, I think, where you're just kind of feeling very lucky to be where you are and have a chance to play there.
That could be two good things. Like, it's like the sun's maybe just going down late tee time.
Sure.
Sun's just coming up early tee time.
Yeah.
Both very beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've experienced both on that course.
I like it. I like it either early or late in the day. You got a good point. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Okay, after those, now I can get into my bombers. What do I want? Is this my last? I have one more pick after this.
Yes.
Two more total picks.
Yep, 2 more total picks.
I gotta hide my freaking things because Jerm's over here sneak attacking. Can't use his eyeballs. Eyes up here, bud.
I have no idea what's on your guys' list. I did not click.
Good job.
My interpretation, and I apologize for doing it wrong, is don't be influenced by them. So, like, do your list independent, and then, like, once
Sure.
that's turned in, then you can take a look. I was
Either
just
way.
curious.
That's okay.
I'm curious too.
Maple Hill, hole 14.
Nice.
I hear Yuli's argument against
No,
holes.
don't bring that into it. No,
Okay,
no,
all right.
No.
Okay.
No.
I know you don't want-
This is a beautiful,
Okay.
great, fantastic hole. I don't want anything thrown at it.
When this hole was moved back to this tee, the feeling of engagement I felt, the beauty of the reflection of the basket off the water from this high angle, going down at this long distance with this very narrow landing zone. I remember just wondering if, like, I was going to be obsolete in disc golf in like a few years. Like, this is such a crazy challenge, and it challenged me. And like, this is a backhand hole. When I see lefties play backhands on this hole, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, like Nathan Queen landing leopard 3 like turnovers on this road. And you're just like, geez, dude, you're insane. But it's a backhand hole. It's a backhand fairway driver for most people. And it's one of the shots that challenges me the most. And so when I do have success on this hole, it's the most rewarding. And I think it's amazing, and I can't wait to play it this year because they've done some adjustments. They've added to the landing zone. They've built up some wall area to make it a little bit more, I guess, make it a little bit more, what's the right word for it?
Fair?
Yeah, a little more fair, I guess. Maybe that's the right word. But it's also aesthetically enhanced as well. So I'm excited to see it this year. But even as it is in this state, it's gorgeous, much like most of Maple Hill. And I think of many holes at Maple Hill that are a lot of fun, but this one specifically. And I think of the Kevin Jones with his mid-range, just throwing the most gorgeous hyzer flip.
Wow. To reach for a mid.
And hit the top.
Wow.
Just so stinking close.
That's wild. And then he's just in the zone. You see that face?
Yeah.
Like he's just like, yes, that's what I do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like
in
that.
I'm like that.
I'm like that.
I don't know that I've ever thrown less than destroyer off that.
Okay, maybe not favorite for everyone, but
I'm not
think
trying to
that's
mess
one of the-
around with that water.
The keys of this being a great hole is the excitement of maybe this is my shot. You know,
Yeah.
like I always think of acing it when I step up
Of
there because that's
course.
the best shot. You
Yeah.
got to go buy that basket if
Yes.
you throw a good one.
uh-huh.
And so I'm always like, is this the time? You know?
And it seems so likely because any other hole, if there's not water there, you're playing 30 right, you're skipping up for the park job. There's no option for that. So
Yeah.
you need to be
Has to be
chain high
crashing.
coming in. And you know you're just going to be a legend if you stick it. And somebody's going to do it pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think of a couple other things. I think of one time playing with Phil Arthur. I played with him final round of a 3-round tournament there, where he birdied all 3 rounds, never left of the hole. He spiked it into the hillside 3
Whoa.
consecutive rounds, which is like incredibly baller, considering he was also probably nearly 50 at the time. And then another thing I think of is one of my favorite moments in Big Sexy commentary, when I don't remember who threw it, but somebody hit something and it launched into the woods. And you said something along the lines that it looked like a 10-year-old grabbed a disc and launched in the woods.
Yeah,
or
the
something.
super skip. I remember that.
Yeah. And, but yeah, it's also provided some sick moments with incredible, scary death putts from like, I think Ricky Wysocki or Greg Barsby coming down the stretch. Just a big, scary, and if you miss that putt, it's another one of those situations where there's no touch. There's no touch available where you can miss it, chain height, and stay in bounds. You're out of bounds. You know you're risking it all. Fantastic risk reward hole, especially coming down the stretch as it's hole 14 on that course.
Okay. This was a toss up between a bunch of holes. Since we're running out of holes, I didn't want to put any more par 3s, but I went with one of my favorite holes ever. Iconic. Unfortunately, it changed this year, but I'm going with this one.
And great for our Dream 18. Net uphill.
Kind of uphill a little.
This is going to buy us a little time.
Yes. So hole 18 at Jonesboro, it has been the location of some of the best drives I've ever seen in my life. One of the tightest tee shots that goes downhill where you have to have the most control you've ever had in your life. And it also requires the best drive of your life to even have a chance at sniffing a birdie into this green. And if nobody likes this, I can't imagine anybody just being like, bad hole. Like, this is just one of my favorite holes. Being the finishing hole, I like it better than even the hole that it is now, just because I felt like it really provided a crazy good finish.
I've kind of wished that they had like a 100-foot ladder so they could like make that initial gap a little cleaner.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's stuff that could change with it, but just the overall hole to me is definitely Dream 18 worthy.
Calvin's drive this year was
Calvin's drive every year for the last 5 years. And then you say what you were going to say.
yes. And that's exactly how it went when we were doing commentary for it this year.
Yeah.
We're like, Calvin always throws the sickest drive. his drive this year is
Past
60 feet
past
past
all the trees.
Yeah.
It doesn't compute.
They need to put a stone, carved stone. Here
bust of
is
his
where
face.
Calvin's drive landed.
A
once.
bust of Calvin's face. Big,
And like Nate said, net uphill, I believe.
yeah, I think that's
For
going to
the
help
first
us.
time,
That's going to help us.
Yeah.
it's gonna let us it's gonna maybe let me pick my last pick.
Yeah.
We are far below sea level at this point, depending on how high we start.
Depending where we started, yeah. But it is definitely the type of course where, say, maybe hole 1, and I've played this at Solitude with Uli. Hole 1, that sidewinder's pretty stable, but you're losing so much elevation down bottom. They're flying a little different. I think you might have to think about that on this 18. We're going to drop a good 1,000, 1,500 feet through the course, so you might have to have some backups in the bag for those late holes.
Sorry for the curveball. I didn't have it on my original list, and then when you said JomezPro, I was like, why am I not thinking of this hole?
Yeah, it's a great hole.
It's the hole that I think about when I'm there.
Yes.
Like before I go there, I think about, oh my gosh, I forgot this hole is the hardest hole I've ever played.
We need a Dream 54.
I had to birdie it. Back when the cash streak was still a thing, there was a time when I got to that hole and went, well, I need to birdie it, and then I did, and I was so happy
No way.
to take like 39th and get in the money.
Did you get last cash with the birdie, or
It turned out that I could have parred it, but as of UDisc,
Yeah.
like
In
I
the
got it by
moment.
2, but in the moment was like, well, to guarantee it, you need this, and then I got it.
pretty
Pretty good for a guy in 39th.
pretty good for a guy in
Absolutely.
39.
I think JomezPro has a lot of really good holes. Almost made the list. A couple of them. The new hole 1 almost made my list. Mm-hmm. That hole's kind of iconic down the hill on top of the log.
It's on my list,
Oh,
but I'm not gonna pick it.
you're not going to be able to use it.
I don't have enough time to use it. But
just don't have
I
the time.
love that hole.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Uli, for getting us uphill a little bit. I erased a little bit of my writing with my shorts. Thanks for getting us back uphill. I'm going to go ahead and eat up all the elevation you gave us with Olympus 18. Big downhill par 4 through the gap all the way down to the landing zone. And then this hole actually is out of a dream because the green being back up a cliff at a totally different level than the tee or the fairway. It's like as much a video game hole as exists in the world. Because you got the OB, you got to get it down here, and then all of a sudden you throw back up a cliff to this little small green. It's maybe the craziest hole I've ever played or ever seen, I think. Just in terms of like dreaming it up and thinking about landing zones and what's required to get a good score on it. It's got to be on the Dream 18 for me.
It's funny I think when you're playing the Dream 18, you have to remember that you're also in Florida while playing it.
Sure.
Because that adds to the appeal in a way, knowing how flat Florida is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you find this property that has this insane elevation, and you just cannot even believe that you're in the state of Florida while playing it. So that adds a little bit to the allure of this hole.
I've never seen another hole even anything like it.
Yeah, anywhere.
Like downhill and to the right, of course.
Yeah.
Played that. But downhill to a landing zone
Back
and then
up.
now back up on top and now the green's perfectly flat up there somehow.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, it's
built
crazy.
Perfect for it.
I think this property has the highest point in Florida.
It's real close
I've
if
heard
it
that.
isn't it.
Yeah.
I was with Simon
Oh
When-
my goodness.
he put his drive on the green. Yeah, this is it.
This was the memory I put down as well.
This is
A shot for the ages.
it. You say this belongs in the Dream 18, and I agree with you. Dreaming of doing this doesn't exist for people. It's beyond comprehension. If you stand on this tee with any awareness whatsoever of where the basket is and how long that shoot is that you have to get out and make that turn right, and for it to carry still another 600 feet, that's the saddest missed putt I've ever seen in my life.
I think
My gut.
actual tears were shed by Simon after that. Like the emotion of it. I mean, like the showman that he is, the chance to do that on video and then to have that putt not quite be there for him. Absolutely brutal.
I know that you're speculating that there might have been tears. I can confirm there were tears.
Yes.
He was very upset about it. And of course he's smiling to the camera there, but like whatever feelings he might have been feeling before that shot, after that miss, was a completely different picture for him for a while. Like that would be the greatest putted to
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Maybe.
Ever. I mean, there's been incredible 2 throw-ins.
Throw-ins, yes.
There would have never been a better putted 2.
Like
all
I drove
time.
the green. Yeah. Like what holes could you even nominate that would be better? It's crazy.
Nothing at all. That would have been the greatest putted 2 ever. But still, I'll never forget the drive, and anyone there that day will never forget that drive.
Okay, on to your final choices. We're going 14, 15, and 16.
Oh, I might throw you a bone. I might, but I might not. Depends on how you act.
He doesn't have a long time to do anything. It's your turn.
I got it. I got to do it. I got to do it. I honestly, I want you to know, I don't like what I'm doing, but I have to do it.
Interesting.
I can't even write.
Hole 1, Maple Hill. It's got to go on there twice.
What is it?
The Fort, hole 16.
Oh.
The backdrop. The shot, the history behind what happened here, what occurred. It's a really fun shot. Once again, another downhill throw. There's a theme there. And I truly enjoy I didn't know there was that much creativity that I could have coming into this green, but the way that James Conrad threw the big high stall putter shot that landed flat on it, that really was special.
Not only that, he aced it.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh.
And then in the playoff to do it again. I mean, he just owned this hole for the week, but I think he said he never even practiced that shot. I think that he just threw it in the tournament, and then
he threw first here, right?
Is this the playoff or this is the tournament?
This is playoff.
Oh,
Didn't you see
playoff.
Macbeth on
Okay.
that bench?
Okay. Incredible. But yeah, I mean, and it looks like it's a forehand play, but as you're going to see here from Macbeth, like coming in with a little bit of speed, it's very easy to go out the back. But I think the most important thing here is that we got a big drop off. You get to see the disc fly, and there's the beautiful mountains in the background.
Oh, man.
And it's home to one of the most incredible stories in disc golf history. The finale of a playoff that shouldn't have been. I mean, it's pretty crazy to see that.
Talk to me about how hard it is to throw that stall shot.
The backhand stall shot for
Can't
James
throw
Conrad is incredibly easy. So, but for me, I wouldn't have even imagined it. I would have gone Spikeiser. I would have gone mid-range or something like that. But to throw a putter hard and high and then let it get all of its steam out and then just go, crashing back. It's imaginative and a very well executed all tournament for him on that hole. What do you have to say about it?
That shot, the shot specifically, or
Yeah,
the
like
hole?
the difficulty of throwing that particular shot shape on that hole.
I agree that it would be almost one of the last options on my mind. Like I would try that before forehand roller.
But there's not a lot of things kind of nicely angled.
There's not a lot of shots that I would find more difficult for me personally into that green. But it is a James shot for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing. I mean, it took the water out of play.
I think that's one of the things that's so cool about disc golf is you see people come up with these ideas for holes that you're just like, I don't know why you did that. Like I think of Parker on hole 16 when he's coming down the stretch against Calvin and he throws Parker Welk.
Oh.
And he throws that crazy flex line instead of stable out wide or whatever. He throws this crazy flex stalling mid-range shot and just parks it. And I'm like, out of all the shots, you have the sidearm power shot. You got the nice turnover flex shot. Throw it into the back wall. And he's like, my shot's a stalling backhand mid-range. Bringing every ounce of the left water in the play, the short water in the play, and the right water into play, and possibly deep. That's my play. I think it's crazy. Yeah, like watch the... Oh, and it's a putter. That's right. With an overstable disc. Like, what?
Wow.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's your play.
Nearly aces it.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, nobody throws that.
Nobody.
Yeah.
That's just a dude living on cloud nine at that moment. Like it's just a couple holes after the huge eagle on 14, or was it a par save that round? Did he? Oh no, a birdie save, or was he eagling it the last round? Either way, it was a big putt.
I have this guy. I have this one. I don't think it's the best hole ever, but this one comes to mind because of a moment that I had when I was a young pup on tour. So I always knew they call it top of the world. I remember when I was young and I had played this thing probably 3 years in a row. And people were like, yeah, top of the world, man. It's the best thing ever. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's a straight downhill shot. Like, there's nothing special about this thing. And I never understood until one day somebody said, well, just look, you can see the ocean. And I was so engaged with disc golf at a young age that I never took the time to look up at the view. I was always so focused on the shot at hand and practicing and all this stuff. And I remember I looked up and I saw the ocean and I was like, how have I not seen this view before? And it really like made me think about like, I gotta stop and look up sometimes because we get to see so many cool places. And this spot right here, if you look right behind me, you can see the ocean.
Yeah.
That's wild. And some people never get to see that. And I'm sitting here playing disc golf and being like, this hole's bunk. Like, throw a hyzer out here, all good. But it's not because of the hole. It's because of this view in Santa Cruz. And so it just meant a lot to me because I was able to finally be like, no, sometimes I need to take a moment and look where I'm at.
You take away the danger of the parking lot aspect.
Oh, there's a lot of things.
And if you just have the hole itself, if it's somehow exclusively disc golf and there's nothing, maybe the power wires aren't a part of the hole and it's just that shape and you still get that backdrop and somehow we're still in Florida. I don't know how it's possible in Santa Cruz.
California's pretty nice.
Well, but when we have his hole, the whole thing's got to be in Florida now. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it's got to be.
Whole course? Oh no.
Yeah. No, of course I'm kidding, but yeah, the visual aspect of it really does make it special and engaging.
I threw one really bad, as I've have many times. I've thrown some great shots off that hole and some really bad ones. And I remember, as we all have, just screaming, 4, parking lot 4. And it hit like a box truck or something. It made this big like noise. And the first thing I said was like, didn't hit a person.
Yeah.
Because it was super loud. Like this big boom. Like, whew. We hit metal. We hit something big and metal. That's all I can deal with that.
That same round with me smiling up top, there's a day that I hit 2 people on that course with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
That
You
was
were out
nice.
for blood.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
I forgot about that.
That was tough.
You've changed for the better.
No, but I think
you.
that hole goes into so many people's Dream 18.
Sure.
Because you got to think about it like this. We're lucky enough to go around the world and play these crazy downhill holes, and that's just like another one. But there's a lot of people where they get to go for the first time, play Santa Cruz, and they play that hole. You know what I mean? And then that's like, to them, it's like the, and actually, kind of old generations would always tell me about this hole too. Like it stood out in their mind. Oh, you can Santa Cruz, like top of the world.
That's what I think about it. It's like there's not a lot of places where you can go and stand and throw a shot and be pretty sure that anyone you've ever heard of has also been there and thrown that shot. Like anyone who's anybody. Like that course has been around so long. Like that probably is late 80s or something that people started throwing Frisbees off of that hill and coming down there. So it's kind of a cool thought to be like, yeah, Steady Ed played this.
Yeah.
Stork played this. All the way on down,
I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was beautiful, Nate. What a joke.
The hole is so fun. It's so fun to throw a disc off the top that I'm reminded of a story where an amateur had the lead, was going to win the tournament. And his caddy was like, dude, I want to throw one. And they were like, dude, you can't throw. Like, it's like a big time rule. You can't do it. And the guy's like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm just going to chuck one. And the dude couldn't help himself. And he threw one at the top of the world. The dude would have won the tournament, but he lost because his stupid caddy. I'm sorry. I don't know. Someone's gonna know who this is, and I apologize.
Couldn't stop his caddy?
No, his caddy threw, and the guy lost the tournament.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
the guy had to throw. He was up there. I was like, dude, I gotta do it.
I'm sorry, but like,
Bro, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be doing this.
That's
I know you're
insane.
winning.
That's
I
insane.
know you're winning, but
why I was
what am
laughing.
I supposed to do?
Second place is still good, man. Second place is still really good. We had no expectations coming here.
We don't have another hole in this entire Dream 18 that has that story, okay? Where someone just absolutely, in that
I
moment in
had
time,
to throw.
had to throw that shot.
He's like,
Yeah.
what if though?
Yeah.
But
If I
what if?
aced it, you know,
What if?
you're going to be thanking me. If I ace it, you're going to be thanking me.
He just ripped it. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm so glad.
I'm sorry if this is opening up some deep wounds for the guy who this affected.
Oh, man.
But man, you should have
That's
tackled
wild.
him. You should have tackled
That's
him.
so funny. Yeah, but last thing to say about it is for all the young kids out there, remember to look up. Remember to look up.
yes.
Dude,
yes.
best thing you've ever said.
All right. I just had to change this again. I couldn't write it down until I heard what he did and what they did. Then I wrote down Toboggan 5. Beautiful hole. And now I don't know why, but now I'm switching. Fox Run 9 with the big rock. Kind of the same shot as Toboggan 5 in a way, like a mid fours, technical in a way
Love
because of
Toboggan 5
OB.
too.
I couldn't pick.
Yeah.
The rock is what did it for me. That pushed me over the edge because this rock is.
You love rocks.
I do.
Yeah, he's a little big rock guy.
I do. Look at this one.
It's a good
Remember
rock.
to look down,
It's a
kids,
good-
because you never know what might be down there. But yeah, this is what a feature
This
is.
thing might have came from way up.
Yeah. But this whole, I mean, 480, gosh, it's so far. Subtly downhill, OB everywhere. Again, this is a hole I do not do well on at all. But when you see someone throw it perfect, it is a very satisfying thing.
absolutely.
As somebody can drift it down there, hit it with power, and just slide down right next to the basket. And then the other fun thing about it is some people get a little loose with the layup and they have to make a putt from behind that rock. And it's way harder than you think it's going to be when you get back behind that thing. Can cause some big problems for people.
This hole makes me wish that I was better than I am.
Oh, yeah. I think my Dream 18 is a bunch of real hard 400-foot backhands.
Yeah, it's like
I
dreamed that I could throw this shot.
Oh, this shot is unbelievable.
Yes. The stupidest, most ridiculous, absurd.
How do you do this?
And this isn't something you practice. The guy was just like, maybe if I try this will work. What the actual heck, dude?
It doesn't make any sense how that could be in bounds.
I think you said the same thing right there.
I'm sure I did. I only have so many words up here.
And then Macbeth's like, yeah, Luna.
I can do something cool. I know I can.
Yeah, butter.
You can't compete with that Simon guy when it comes to trying to do cool stuff on the course.
Did he make the putt too?
Who knows?
It doesn't even matter.
Who knows?
He got it safe in the circle.
He
or
just
down
keeps
there.
missing these freaking putts.
Maybe he grandpa putted it in.
Let's reveal your guys' picks for hole 17.
I only have 2 because I didn't need to put another one because this is going to win anyway.
Which one do you think is going to win, Yuli?
Winthrop.
Yeah, I think it will too.
Winthrop 17 is not going to be on our list on hole 10. It's not going to be on our list on hole 3. It's going to be on our list for hole 17 and 17 only. It's not the hole you want to finish on, but it's the hole you want to set up the drama. And it has 2 placements. It's only 249 feet. It's right there in front of you. You go play this on a casual day, you see where the basket is, and you think to yourself, how the heck could this be a famous hole? And then you put the hay bales, and then you put the pressure of a major title on the line, and this hole becomes 380 feet, and it becomes the size of the palm of your hand. It can get very tiny really quick. The wind becomes heavy. Your decision on the disc becomes fuzzy. Your execution can get loose. But if it doesn't, then you can't really truly be heroic unless you're risking a lot. And I think you're risking a lot by attacking the pin, where you can also play the easy bailout forehand way out wide right and just take the easy par. But if you want to go for the birdie, if you need the birdie, it takes a lot of courage and you can end up being heroic. Or you can do what so many have done in the past who've had the lead going into this hole, take an 8 and lose the tournament. And I think no other hole can have a swing of emotions that extreme that can change someone's life.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other hole 17. There just isn't. I feel like all course designers across the planet now are trying to make a hole 17 that can challenge the player in a lot of ways that this hole has challenged players in the past. Just so many good things about it. I've seen so many of the greatest players to ever live just completely crumble over a tiny little shot that everybody has to have dialed. And then on top of that, you have some of the greatest putts that you've ever seen in the history of the game on this hole. It seems like a lot of people are right at this area where Gannon is right here. I can remember Macbeth hitting a big one. I remember Steve Brinster hitting a big one when he went down the stretch. Of course, Macbeth as well.
Oh my gosh.
But it's just that hole.
17 years old.
Yeah.
He made that putt.
It's also special to me because I played this tournament for a long time, took a lot of top tens, never made the lead card. And the first time I made the lead card, a very special moment for my career happened.
It's the memory I shared. You know, each one of these things, we put in a number, put the hole in the
and I had my buddy with me too, who showed me the way. So this was so special because I remember I was having a bad round and I remember just being like, I'm gonna just try to barely clear it because I have a game plan on this one and it's always and it's always to go to the middle of the green. And I'm walking up the 17th, I guess it's what is it, like that road. And these two guys are walking with me. I don't know who they were, but they were like, "Come on, Paul, you got it. Like you got this birdie coming up or whatever." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna get a 1." And I was just like pissed because of like stuff that happened earlier in the round. And I remember just being kind of locked in and had practiced like barely clearing it. And so that was 100% intentional.
Yeah.
And then the other part that was awesome about it is I'm running down, I get it, I say all this stuff, and I look over and my mom's over there just bawling her little eyes out.
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh. I think of you on hole 17. I thought of you on hole 17 before you aced this hole on lead card because we've practiced many, many rounds here and you showed me a different way of picking aiming points. You have always, are we going to share this with the world what your aiming point is?
Can, yeah.
Okay. So
because I missed for the first time, the second time ever this last year.
So we, when we talk about aiming points, we oftentimes look at a tree and we find a spot on the tree and we kind of fixate on this thing. But to Paul's point, these trees move and change over the time. And sometimes that tree is no longer where you want your aiming point to be. So Paul has picked the lights from the soccer field on the other side of the field, way off in the distance. And he's aiming at that light. That's his spot. And so he's always aimed at that spot. He goes up there high, pushes the ceiling of this low ceiling gap with something moderately overstable. And by the time he gets that distance, it's crashing and he hits the green with regularity since 2006 all the way to 2023 with how many misses now? 1? 2 misses. So that light has never changed height. It's always stayed the same.
Yep, and a speed 9 can't go out of bounds deep at that. For my power,
at that height.
For my little wimpy arm,
with parachute deployed halfway,
exactly.
It's going to land right on that green.
Right on there.
Yeah, I think you got it. Do you got a 2017 queued up? I think when I've played well at the USDGC, and you're coming down to that hole late in the day, and the wind tends to die down at Winthrop late in the day, and you're kind of getting like the evening sun, and I feel like I've hardly ever stood in like a quieter place than like the tee of that hole for some reason. When the wind, there's maybe been a lot of wind, there's been a lot of cheering, but like everyone appreciates the intensity of the moment. And it's like, all I can hear is like my heartbeat in the moment that I'm standing on that tee. And this shot right here is maybe the most intense feeling I've ever had in my life because I had a big enough lead that the only way I could mess it up was missing this green. And getting there, I just felt like, that's a done deal. And I couldn't really quite believe it.
If you see me in the background, you can see me going, yes. At this moment, I'm, knowing how important this is for you.
Sure.
The only thing I'm thinking of is, dude, just get this disc on the green.
Because I think I was up by 5 or 6. So it really didn't need to be parked.
What were you doing John? What was that?
I think what I was thinking was, don't leave this 20 short, you jelly-legged fool. Like, just try not to. So I kind of juiced it, I think. I was like,
all the locks you've broken in your life.
Oh, yeah,
Come
man.
on,
One more doesn't hurt.
Hey, and I birdied it. We don't even show that. What the heck?
Sweet. +3, Jerm.
Well, let's not show that part. Edit that out.
I also think it's just a classic sidearm hole, and being able to ace it, being a top fiver.
Sure, that cements you kind of.
It's kind of another, I don't know, it's kind of another point.
Cements you.
Are we even going to talk about the other holes? I mean,
We should, because someone didn't have it as their number 1.
okay.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I put Swenson 17 as my number 1 hole 17. I just think it's a pretty epic hole. Obviously, a low ceiling drive, and then a green
This
that's
is a great 7.
nearly as intimidating as Winthrop's green, maybe more so in ways. If you can get out of this gap cleanly, you have a pretty manageable shot in. But this place, it doesn't really die down the wind. Generally, late in the day, you're going to be dealing with it. And if you don't have any geese in your way, then you're a lucky guy, because that's another part about this hole that makes you kind of think. You have to decide how safe you can keep these animals that are out here just trying to enjoy their time on this earth. And sometimes you have to throw it straight at them.
I actually changed one of mine. I put Swenson in. This was an audible for me. I put it at number 3 in fear of, if it were at 2, it would take Winthrop out.
Because you looked at my list and you knew what I voted.
I didn't study it. I glanced over it. But what happened is I think that Swenson is such a strong 17 that I wouldn't have been surprised if Yuli had it on the list.
If we went second,
I didn't want to take Winthrop out.
Sure.
So I put it down my list, but I put it at number 3.
Sure.
It's a fantastic hole.
I have Winthrop number 2, just to be transparent. They're pretty close for me, but I just felt like I almost felt for the opposite reason. I kind of knew you guys would both put Winthrop 1, and I figured, let's change it up a little bit.
I'll put it as number 3.
Nice.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Milo Gold.
Ooh, wow. So we're getting up on the Genius again.
We're going to go up there to the Genius again. And the only reason I picked this one is because I didn't know if anyone would pick the Genius.
Yeah.
And I thought it had to be on a Dream 18 for sure.
Yep.
And being a hole 17, I don't remember a lot of par 5s being on hole 17.
Sure.
And that's something that's pretty unique. Also, coming down this hill, I mean, it's a pretty unique hole. It's not my favorite as far as like the road and the island and all those things. But if you take out the road and you take out the parking lot and everything, and this was just the hole, one of the best holes ever that's ever been created ever.
Yeah.
But adding this, like, imagine if this was just a running river.
Oh my goodness.
You see, this is a Dream 18, and that's why I'm telling you.
A couple bridges,
exactly, going
forth.
back and forth, and this is a beautiful. This is a couple Sammys, kind of.
Of course.
Just jumping. There's a little bear running.
Yep.
A little cub.
Yep.
Eagles. Mama's way over there. It's fine.
It's a safe spot.
And then there's and then the water goes all the way around this beautiful little island green. Somehow there's gigantic trees growing on it.
Yep.
Even though it's there by itself with a nice bridge that goes over it.
Yep.
And this would be my favorite hole ever of all time if that was the case.
Yep.
But it's not, and we have to deal with the sidewalk. But still, if you could imagine that, I feel like this is for sure a Dream 18. And because it's Dream 18, Josh is going to edit a river. Thank
awesome,
you.
Josh.
That was nice.
That is so cool.
My
That was
dream.
sick. That is so cool.
You guys talked about that before, and he said he would do it. I remember him saying that.
There's going to be a little bear running and everything.
Incredible.
Oh,
It takes
that's
a lot
gonna be
of
so
work.
cool.
Yeah.
And editing the salmon into the water. That's gotta. I mean,
tough.
it's amazing
Thanks,
what he
Mike.
can do.
Thanks,
Just
Mike.
wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. It's incredible what he can do.
There is one more hole 17 that made 2 lists.
I want to. Oh, really? Okay. So I took this out of my list, but I definitely
about
think it
putting
belongs.
This is the one that I said is a junk hole that I don't even like, and I don't know why I put it on my list.
So we both took it out.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. Well done. Sweet.
And I almost put it in, but I was like, no.
Yeah, it's too long. I don't like it. I was scrambling, thought maybe it's cool. Then I thought better of it and realized it's not that
Imagine
cool.
somebody
it's
playing
kind of
our
a
Dream
cool, but
18 and getting to this on hole 17 and being like, all these downhillers and now I have a
Yeah.
9 billion footer.
It is a cool hole.
It's a good one.
I can't reach it, I think. And it's starting to make me mad. It's starting to make me mad, bitter a little bit.
I got another one that we haven't listed yet or mentioned yet, and it's Waco. And I was thinking about Waco, and I was thinking Waco 17 on this Waco and on Lake Waco are both phenomenal 17.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
So just if you're in Waco, Texas, and you're playing the 17th hole,
Pat
you're
yourself
playing
on the
a great
back.
hole. Yeah, just go
There's
ahead.
no
pat yourself on the
salmons, but
See, and that's why this hole, I thought about this hole.
me too.
And this hole didn't make my list because of parking lots.
Yeah.
And that's where we have the editing coming.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. This
This
is a
is
moment
incredible.
coming down the stretch. Nico and Kale battling. Kale's essentially parked, and Nico not parked, doing something freaky, and then just telling the crowd, "You better believe I made that shot." And
then boom.
I mean, who has ever played with more energy? Like the celebrations that Nico displays are full on 3-minute, like
Oh, yeah.
choreographed dances,
Yeah.
and like it's like it reminds me of like tribal stuff.
There's
where
more
it's,
than
like, intense
there's more
the
than one
entire
act.
way.
More than one act to it all.
Yeah, it keeps going. I mean, encore.
There's peaks and valleys.
I mean, but this is you're playing against this guy, and he does this down the stretch, and he turns around and he does this.
Nice win.
Like he's playing against you.
nice win.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Great
Yeah.
win.
Like he's playing
That's
against
what he
you.
say. He turns around and says, "Great win, great win, me."
That's what I tell him. Great win.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
Well, you
Oh,
know,
that's what you're telling him. That's what
Yeah,
he's
if he
telling
does
you
that
too,
to me,
though.
I'm out of there.
there's somebody else I notice who plays with that sort of passion. It doesn't come out as much, but Ricky Wysocki
Yeah.
likes to turn around and look at his competitors.
He did it this
and-
year.
and be like,
What do you want from
Yeah.
me? Yeah.
He did
you
it
want
at
another one? I have another one.
yeah,
When he made that huge putt while AB was kind of slipping a little bit.
for sure.
Ricky made that huge putt and he turned immediately and looked right back at him, and it's just like, oh God, I'm glad I'm not AB right now.
Yeah, well, AB did double bogey, so he did get to him.
he kind of got to him a little
Sure
bit.
did.
Yeah.
Kind of leading into how sick his approach
Yeah.
was on 18, another hole on our Dream.
I threw on Whistler's Bend 17.
Must be added.
That's a new numbering. We didn't used to know it as 17, but with the new 27 hole layout, put that one up there again. Kind of an obligatory ad for an Oregon guy. My favorite course in the world, I think. If I had to pick just one place to play, this is where I would go spend my last day disc golfing, I think. And the 17th is the top of the world shot. And it's kind of like Santa Cruz top of the world, but better in every way.
Can you see the ocean?
No, but you can see the North Umpqua, and it's rushing by. There's actual Sammys.
There's actual Sammys and little bears.
There's eagles.
It's everything you wanted from your 17. But
Yeah, you can't see the ocean. That's the one way that it's worse.
Yeah,
But I
I
wouldn't
would
say.
never look anyway. Don't
But I
worry.
wouldn't say. I would say that you can't see the ocean, but I wouldn't say that the view is really worse. It's an incredible view from up there as well.
Yeah,
man, sidey. It's weird not adding sidey.
Edgy,
Edgy. Edgy.
yeah, totally. But that's not 17.
I know, but just
And
on this list
I was
somewhere.
I was being a fool. Like Yuli opened my eyes. I was trying to stay so inside the list we had for prompts that I didn't really reach for some of these courses that I knew I had holes that I really wanted to have on the Dream 18. So maybe we'll have to make another video someday. But I need more time to think about what holes and everything that's out there. But this is the hole. I don't think 569 is right. I think it's maybe 669 or thereabouts. I don't know.
Wow.
It feels a lot farther to me.
Yeah.
But it's a huge downhill shot. But you can get there with a putter. You can get there with any disc you want. You can see the big view. Everybody on the course down there can see what you're doing. It's a little sketchy walking down, so be careful if you're lucky enough to get there. But just an amazing hole. A couple epic aces have happened there. An old story, just a competitor, guy that I used to play with a lot in the very beginning of my career named Lane Mason with a nasty thumber. just a really good player. I'm sure Yuli probably played him at times.
Koling.
But he was up there at night one time by himself and threw off top of the world and heard the chains and ran the whole way down going, "Who's down there? Who's messing with me? Who's messing with me?" Nobody ever owned up to it. Nobody was down there. The disc was in the basket.
Wow.
At night.
Whoa.
So just sort of an insane story.
Whoa. Acing top of the world at night.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty
God.
crazy. I mean, it kind of stinks that you
dreams
didn't
are
get to
made of.
see it fly, but it's still incredible.
I don't typically remember this hole, but I do remember playing a tournament here, and it was amazing. There was a lot of great holes out on this piece.
Oh
of
yeah, you only went there the once that
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah,
I
and
remember that.
and that one time is where I threw my only thumber ever besides Maple Hill, and in that round it went backwards. So I never thought I'd throw another thumber again. In the final 9, I did that.
I remember
So
that.
that was a
I remember
was a
that.
fond memory.
I remember that playing that tournament with you.
Yep. This one will be interesting. There's a lot of great hole 18s out there.
Oh my
true.
gosh.
I'm thinking of a few right now that didn't make the list, and I was like, ooh, tough sucks to suck, but we're still pretty
Should have
good.
been better.
Yep, should have been better.
I got
ready.
mine.
I'm ready, Freddie.
You know, oh, Nate's not. Are you finding it?
Oh sure. I gotta remember what I had.
I'm curious.
Me curious,
if
you
get-
too. Me curious, you too. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow! Like same order, kind of. Oh baby. Okay. Cool.
Wow. I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
By what?
I'm just surprised that we all know like what the best hole in the world is.
Yeah, yeah. Nokia the Beast. Just one of the most professionally run tournaments that any of us have ever been to. This hole is pretty incredible. You have the opportunity to go big if you want to. Most people try to play it into here, and then you just have this super stressful shot up the hill that's always so hard to get a distance read. Hard to know if you're going to skip off the stage or be a little short. The green is so small. And then when you throw it perfect, you're probably in the Christmas trees long. You thought it was perfect, probably you're in the Christmas trees long with no putt. Just look at the map from the air. I mean, there's just almost no safe territory. Just there's been so many epic stories. We've got Barsby and Macbeth and Eagle and Macbeth, and just some crazy things have gone down there.
Julian Feldy
Sure.
back in 2011.
What a putt this was.
Yeah, I mean, this is at OB, and this forces
Make Macbeth to make the putt to win it.
And it's just such a shame because Barsby essentially had the 71 hole lead. You know, like at no point was he not in first place. Maybe there were some ties in the last round, I don't remember. But he had a one-shot lead going into this, threw out of bounds off the tee, threw out of bounds on the approach. Macbeth played it clean and had to hit the 30-footer for the win. Just to force him to make that with that big jump putt.
Amazing.
Wild.
Keeping the streak alive. I mean, Macbeth won every one from 2013, 15, 17, and then there was like one other, like there was like a consecutive year in the middle that wasn't a major, I believe. So he won 5 in a row going into the Epic Battle, or maybe 6 before he went to Epic Battle.
Something
with Eagle.
like that. Till Eagle
Just like
took
he
him
was
out.
like essentially unbeatable out there.
I feel like every picture that you see of hole 18 during the tournament is like the picture that you would take to a big time sponsor and be like, see, we're important.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
is what you bring.
This is what
Yeah,
this is what disc
This is
golf
the value
is.
we can give you. Yeah. Look at all the
Exactly.
fans. Look at the beautiful everything.
100%. And it's the brilliant design of the way that the fairways is and how the people really aren't in the way on the left-hand side all the way up the fairway. The amount of skill it takes to really throw a great shot into that green is fantastic. You have to earn it on the last hole. I love it. I think it's the best one we got.
The sad thing is we've got this European Open, next year's World Championships, and then we can kiss it goodbye because the Beast.
No, it's always going to be in our Dream 18, man.
Yeah, sure. I'm saying if you want to play
They're
it,
developing that area or something?
Yeah.
they're developing where hole 3, the par 5 is, and it just won't be a major layout anymore.
Sure.
They're gonna lose holes, and
Sure.
so as far as that being a a major championship deciding final hole goes, that will no longer be. And that's sad because it is like, it's the only thing I would change about the hole is that there's these light posts down the sidewalk. Little just lights. I don't like those.
Sure. Change them into trees.
Yeah. If they're trees or there's nothing there, one of the two.
Yeah.
Josh, change them in the trees. A deer.
That
He
should
didn't
be,
tell
that
me
should
that.
be,
A
But
reindeer
if
is
you can
running
do
between
everything
them.
that you promised with the other hole, that should be no
it's
problem.
gonna be a matter of 5-10 seconds for him.
Okay. And you're not going to believe how good he is at it. Really, truly unbelievable.
Nate, what did you put for your second one?
My second place, I threw a nod to Wild Horse Innova Course. I think this is a really nice hole. I think it's got OB on all sides. You got the opportunity to go big water carry off the tee, try to find the second zone.
It is a great hole.
You got the chance to play it short, and if you do that, then the approach into the green is that much tougher. You got the fountains on, OB green late, OB water again late. It's kind of another hole that I wouldn't even quite dream up. Like, look at the configuration. There's so many ponds, the OB green, 3 different bodies of water you have to deal with. And then the little tiny raised basket way up there on the slope. Not the hardest hole in the world, but a really nice feeling birdie if you get it. And a good stroke separator hole, I think.
Favorite hole from this, or favorite story from this hole ever, was when Philo won this tournament. Earlier in the day, I was actually playing with Philo when he won. It was awesome, but we kept hearing roars from other parts of the course. The first roar we heard was J.C. Kester when he aced hole 8, a 400-foot downhill blind hole. It's like actually like 430. It's
with
like
a
long
thumber,
with
right?
a thumber. He aced it with a thumber.
Oh my gosh!
And he gets to 18, and he plays it from a different tee pad at the time. We were playing a little bit farther back, and it was a par 5. And he goes thumber to the long landing zone, and then 400-foot thumber in the basket for albatross. The same day, Philo wins the tournament. J.C. Kester wins our hearts. Like the best day of his life. Ace and albatross, all thumbs.
Unreal.
One of the longest thumber throwers in the history of disc golf. I'll never forget that. It's a great hole. My second one is the same one Paul had, and that is Winthrop. It would be number one, obviously, if the beast didn't exist. It's so many incredible stories have played out here. There've been the dream is to be able to play it pitch, take a double bogey, win. But a few years back, we saw Gannon Burr get pushed to the limit with Niklas Antola just firing on all cylinders, putting it up there around the corner for the birdie. And Gannon had to come up clutch, and he had to get the birdie to win. And as much slope as there is on this approach, it makes it so awkward with the footing. And then it's blind, and you have to get the right stability. And then just to throw that shot in that moment with that much pressure at the age of 17 to win a major championship, everything on the line, incredible stuff. Also home to the final hole played with the epic playoff, the playoff, the 10-hole consecutive birdie playoff between Barry Schultz and Ken Climo back in 2005 or 2003. 2003, yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, and it's just incredibly epic cycle of 1, 17, 18, 1, 17, 18. They kept birdieing 1, 17, 18, and then eventually Barry Schultz wins on hole 18. So it's historically just been, incredible. We've seen, I don't know, I mean, the World Championships moves every year. There's something special about having this being the crowning hole.
I got the DVD of that playoff for Christmas.
That's a good present.
I had that thing running. I was watching that quite a bit. Just the amazing shot making from those guys.
But the thing that you might not, maybe it doesn't come through quite as much as it should on film, like most holes, is the slope. Landing it safely on that tee shot, incredibly difficult. And then the way that you have to run up to your shot, unless you find this one little spot right here, right there, right where the pause spot was, right above, like 5 feet. Yeah, that's it right there. That is the sweet spot. If you can find that spot, then you'll have a relatively flat approach. But the other way to play it is play it to the bottom of the hill. And then you have this crazy long shot. I believe that's how Uli plays the hole. but there's no safe way to play it for the birdie, and almost no safe way to play it for the par, especially when they started elevating the basket. It's just a fantastically nerve-wrenching hole.
Yeah, one of my favorites of all time. Lots of great memories. Being able to see one of my good friends walk it down the fairway. I wish I could have got to see you walk it down the fairway, but you did pretty good the other 3 rounds. That was good.
Hey, I did birdie it in the 3rd round. That was my very last hole that year. Was a birdie on that hole.
Very good, very good.
Smart.
Thank you.
But seeing all kinds of stuff happen on that hole. One time I saw a guy flip one upside down,
Mike Sullivan.
Slide it down the thing, hit a fork branch and flipped it into the basket.
Like a pole vaulter.
Laying up.
Trying to lay up. Yep. Slide it on the ground.
Stick was stuck in the ground.
Stuck in there and it pole vaulted into the basket.
Not when the basket, to be noted,
when
the basket was elevated.
When the basket was tall.
When it was normal height.
It was a shorter basket. I also, one of my oldest memories was the first year I got there. I remember seeing Coda Hatfield. Mm-hmm. And he was this athletic looking dude and he was wearing the big wings.
Yeah.
He had like this cool blue Innova shirt. And I remember being like, man, that guy's cool. And I'm watching him come up the 18th and I wanted to watch him. He was my favorite player. And one guy's like, oh, he's like the greatest putter ever. And he like threw it up by us. So we're like all hovered down around and I'm expecting him to just lay it up. And this is like 70 feet. And this dude, last hole of the tournament, just goes, whew, and he freaking barked at it. He goes, whew, and it goes right in the middle. And runs
the way you
down
did
there
this is very Coda Hatfield. You got the hand pop right. That was good.
And I remember just being like, that's who I want to be right there. Like, that guy is nasty. He had swag. He was confident.
Man, he could throw it a long way, too.
And then right after, he was in the big distance showcase. And that was like, I was like, dang, there's some athletes in here. I like that.
What else is on your list, Julie?
My list, the last one's Maple Hill. Maple Hill's gone through all kinds of different iterations of this hole, but every hole in its own right is fantastic. Comes up here, Christmas trees are finally all gone.
-1.
Yeah, there's one, but that's a good tree. I like that tree. I think that's just a tree. Might not even, nobody ever wanted it. It's just stuck there for life. I don't know if they got anything. And you come up here and then this crazy little island green. I mean, you got all the people sitting back there and watching and betting and gambling, and you got the little hut right there. People on the balcony watching you come up. I've seen some amazing shots. Jerm watched you walk one in here for a championship. Watched a bunch of people kind of throw it away on that hole and watched a lot of good stuff on that hole. So
who can forget Macbeth's, I'm already going to win, but let me just go ahead and throw it in from 100 feet.
Yeah.
The walk off from 100 feet on the last hole of a big tournament.
There's just no better feeling too than being there last hole. You got nothing to lose. You're not going to win the tournament and then throwing one on the island. Dude, are you kidding? Like because everybody's rooting for you on that hole for the most part, except for the guy who's betting $5 who won't make it on. But even when you do make it,
hear him going,
he's still happy. He's still going to give it up to you. And a lot of good memories up at that piece of property for sure. But hole 1, pretty good. Hole 18, fantastic.
Nate, any on your list there?
I have Fox Run again. I guess I like Fox Run. I nominated a lot of Fox Run, but I think hole 18 is really great here. OB down the right side, OB down the left side, a chance to really air it out. Really surprisingly easy to leave it right, and you think it's going to swing back, but it doesn't quite. Certainly the miss on that left side as a right-handed player. And obviously, 2 different world championships held here. 2 different world championships ended here in the last few seasons. So just some incredible moments, some incredible memories, and I think a beautiful and challenging disc golf hole.
How freaking close this was to going out of bounds.
Yeah. Gotta dig.
Oh, that roll. Why do you have to roll that much? I mean, it felt safe for a while. And it's just like at that speed, you just think it's done. And then just to make it interesting, Josh Anthon goes ahead and birdies the last hole. And I mean, I guess it didn't really matter once Sparsby's drive came to rest and bounds. But yeah, Paige Shue winning there too. You know, her first title win.
Isaac, Kristen.
Yeah. It's a special hole and one of the most beautiful backdrops of the mountains in the background. Again, September mandatory, kind of in that same realm as hole 2.
Collectively, my favorite place in the world for disc golf.
Vermont.
This is my favorite place.
Yeah.
When people ask me, where should I go? I say Vermont in September. It's the best place you'll ever be ever. Combined 2 courses, my favorite place to play disc golf by far, and it's not even close.
I think I might have just attempted to put 4 Fox runs into the Dream 18.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's fair. It might not be enough. I got one more. Fountain Hills 18.
Yeah. This was on my list. I didn't make my 18 somehow, but it was on my list to be thrown in at some point.
It's just home to so many epic battles down the stretch. It wasn't always hole 18, but I love when they changed the holes around to make it the 18th hole. It sets up for a great stadium for the spectators to be kind of wrapped around this green here to see it from all angles. Forehand's the safe play to get in bounds, but you also risk, with the power that it takes to get there, you risk throwing it out of bounds early, and that can be really bad. I know I've taken a fair share of 7s on that hole because of
a fair share.
Perhaps 2.
Wow.
Okay, that's not as bad as it sounds.
Perhaps
It's
2.
not as bad as you made it sound.
But that's twice as many as is acceptable.
Yes.
1-7 is possible. But
this is one of my favorite memories.
Oh
of all
my
time.
gosh, this putt. To tie it.
Well, we were tied going in. This putt was to put the pressure on Macbeth.
Sure, to keep yourself in the game.
And ultimately it was the tie because Paul Macbeth in 2015 was Paul Macbeth in 2015, and he wasn't going to miss a 45-foot putt. That moment right there, and my sports life and all the things that have happened to me, and everything that athletics and sports has provided for me in my life, not one thing has ever given the electricity through all parts of my body, the way that putt going in the basket from that distance, the sound that was created in that bowl, the electricity, not having made one putt from outside 40 feet all tournament, not having attempted one Anheuser putt the whole tournament.
What do you have? Is that a circle 3?
Oh, 100%.
It had to be like 80, right?
It was about, I think it was 70 to 75.
Wow.
That's my prediction. This is before rangefinders were really available. But yeah, I mean, my guess is 75. And it was slightly downhill. And one of the main things I was thinking is the Anheuser was countering any potential of just totally dorking it 10 feet left and throwing it in the water and having Macbeth just go, okay, you dummy. And this is the 72nd hole in the tournament, a 4-round event, and I had not gone out of bounds once. And I was like, if I putt this thing out of bounds, this is gonna be the worst feeling of my life. And the coolest thing to me about that whole thing is this right here.
Yes.
Macbeth stepping up under the pressure and nailing this putt. And this right here, 1, 2, boom. That's the screenshot. That's what I see when Paul Macbeth calls me on my phone. I see that turnaround moment where he points to me.
Yeah.
It's a moment I don't want to ever forget, and I never will. But that interaction, that embrace afterwards when I go up and give him the quick hug, like, that's what sports are all about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quickly, anything on your list that you wish you could have put in, or just barely didn't make the list, or just barely didn't make it into the final?
Okay, so if we're talking a few honorable mentions, I think there were many holes, obviously, since we listed more than just one for the 17s, 18s, and one. I think hole 1 at West at Glendevere belongs on the Dream 18. I think it's a fantastic hole. Mm-hmm. But since you're throwing in Whistler's Bend, I got to throw in hole 9 at High Country in Ashe County Park in Jefferson, North Carolina.
Yep.
That hole is phenomenal.
Yep, incredible.
Straight down a hill. Again, it's a very common theme for me.
Yeah.
But through a tight window, and then going back uphill at the end, the basket just sitting up there. It looks like a tiny little ant from the perspective where you are on the tee. beautiful hole, incredibly engaging. But I mean, there's just so many holes.
There's
it's impossible.
there's fully 30 holes that are just barely missing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
like I had hole 16, I think it is, at Pier Park.
15.
15.
Oh yeah, the
Hole
dream
15.
catcher.
How about
the dream catcher?
Solitude 18?
Solitude 8.
Trying to have a fun time. You might want to throw that hole.
Yeah.
Man, so many. Too many to list.
I think one that kind of got snubbed maybe is hole 12 at Northwoods Black.
No way, dude.
I think it's a great hole. I think it's the best par 6 ever designed, and I don't think there's any question about
Well,
that.
if they put par 6 on the sign, we could talk.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I were to go back, I would replace maybe a par 3 with that, because we only have one par 5.
Wait, 2. Yeah,
Two
did
par 5s.
yeah, we got JomezPro.
7 at Fox
got
Run, I think, is
Winthrop.
a great par 5. I think that obviously
That's a
Northwood
snub.
Black's big snub. I want to replace one of my par 3s.
Well,
Can we
I
make
mean,
19?
I know.
Playoff? We need one
It
playoff
should
hole.
be, if we're going to have a dream course, it ought to have 27 holes.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be next year.
Yeah.
Well, this is our list, and it's not perfect.
Yeah, and I thought
It's-
hole 1 at Lake Eureka.
Yep.
Yeah. I think there's some holes at Lake Eureka that belong in here for sure, and that's one of them.
This
I
is
think
our
hole
list.
2 is a great hole at Lake Eureka.
This is our list, and we hate it. see if you can do better. See if you can do better. And thanks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's any individual putting together a list would have maybe some different flares and elements to it, but like when you're collecting this data from 3 people.
I mean, I put it in the freaking U-turn hole instead of Northwood Black. I panicked.
that total wild card.
Yeah, but I like it being in there.
Yeah, sure.
I do.
I got
Some
Fox-
weird stuff.
I got
I like
Fox
weird
too
stuff.
I
in there.
enjoyed this with you guys.
Yeah, I did
This
too. It was fun.
This was a blast.
Fun.
Did we nail Dream 18?
Not
no, but
even
we can
close.
keep dreaming.
Yeah. We can always keep dreaming.
Yeah.
And we hope you will too.
Thanks for watching.